Today's topic is still related to HR and its performance review. Before starting, otherwise people complain, I need to explain why I'm here. I've built this business from 0 to 200 million revenues, from 0 to 1,000 employees, and then with my team, we bring it to the NASDAQ in New York as a public company. And after 19 years of this journey, I'm here to share completely for free what I have learned and what are the mistakes I have made, hoping that you can create a bigger business than 200 million revenues. That said, let's continue to performance review. What is performance review? It's a formal evaluation where employee performance, strengths, and area of improvement are assessed and measured. It's a ritual that it's recurrent over time, can be done yearly, every 6 months, every quarter. Really depends on your objectives and on your way of doing this work. Before starting with the dashboards, we need to analyze what are the criteria you use to measure those performance. And there are many frameworks. One I'm showing here is made by four different feedback. The best one is constantly exceed. The second is constantly meet. The third one is a gentle way to say you are not performing, but maybe you can improve, which is actively developing. And then there is the worst assessment score, which is not met. So we can look at the performance from different angle. Angle number one, specific activities. I mean, your job is made by duties and specific projects you are working on. Every project have its own outcome, and every activity, every duty have its own outcome, and the outcome can vary on the performance you have specifically achieved on a specific activity. In this case, specific, you are working on two different initiatives. So one is customer retention, and the other one is CRM implementation. For the customer retention, your performance was great, constantly exceed, 100% score, everything was going smooth. About the CRM implementation, then you haven't met the objective. That means that this project wasn't didn't perform as expected, and then you have not met the expectation. Then the second way to look at the performance is the alignment to company value. Usually you have a framework that shows, that explain, that highlight what are the value that drive the company. In this dashboard, you have four values: one, two, three, four, and then your alignment of specific value. Value number one, you are not aligned. Value number two, you are aligned. Value number three, you are aligned. Value number four, you are overperforming. You are an advocate of this specific value. And then the last way to look at the performance is the final evaluation, which is a summary of all the elements that we have shown above. And then you have a specific score that summarizes everything. In this case, you are 80% constantly meet. It's fine. You are fine. You are what we expect. You are not a rock star, but you are what we expect. This is those are the three elements, and you can have many others that highlight the performance review. But then the manager or the HR manager have a kind of dashboard that highlight in one dashboard how many employees are progressing over the performance review. So you have column number one, employee name; column number two, who is his manager; column number three, how long this person have been in the company; and then you have the evolution of the performance. In this case, it's quarter over the quarters. So let's analyze that the first employee it have a tenure of 1 year and constantly exceeded the performance. No problem. We can invest on this person. Is for sure on track for a great career. Employee number two, 3 years, it was okay, constantly meet, but then in Q1, but then in Q2 and Q3, the performance went down, which is a bad sign for two reasons. One, this person is 3 years with us, and there is a sign that something is decreasing as performance. Maybe this person is not happy, I don't know. The employee number three, you have 6 months of tenure, so you have only 2 months, 2 quarters of assessment, constant limited scale. Employee number four, sorry, I have seen some mistake here on number, but no problem. This person never met. I don't know why this person is still in the company. Employee three, last employee, it's good news. It comes from, it start from a constant limit, and then it's improving on contact and exceed, probably another resource to invest in. So as you can see, in one single dashboard, you do have a picture on how things are evolving employee per employee. When something is not going well, let's say not met for one or many quarters, you can enter into a performance improvement plan. The performance improvement plan is a plan where we say, okay, you are not doing well. We need to do something to let you come back to a great performance. So it's the performance improvement plan is made by 6 phases. One is identify what are the gaps that you need to fill. The second is set clear goal. I mean, what are the goal of the performance improvement plan? What is the timeline we have to implement this performance improvement plan? What are the check-in rituals where we check the progress updates every 2 weeks? We are going to have one-to-one, and with you and your manager, sorry, HR manager, not a one-to-one exactly, where we analyze how it performed. Then we assess the result. We check your performance at the end of the performance improvement plan, and then based on the outcome, we determine the actions that can be good or bad. Last slide of this chapter is mistakes to avoid in HR. So I have highlighted here 4 mistakes. One is you don't have clarity when you hire someone on the career ladder. I mean, employees usually are asking, okay, but what if I'm constantly exceeding my performance? What are the career opportunity out there? And there are career opportunity from contributor to manager, which is going up, but there are different career ladders, like from one role to a more appealing role. Let's imagine from support to software engineer, or to sales engineer, or to others. So there are different ways to improve your status and your career and your and your salary and your everything role in the organization, but need to be clear and formalized, because you need to provide a specific answer to specific question and set the right expectation when you hire someone, but also when you have it in the organization. When you grow a lot, usually you need immediately resources, and those resources start initially immediately do the job when you hire it. So when you are in hyper growth, you hire quantity and not quality. Instead of taking your time to cherry pick the best resource and take your time to onboard this resource, you bring everyone and you put them immediately on the job. The problem is that those hyper growth phases usually uh, are not lasting forever. I mean, can last a couple of years, 3 years, but then you have a moment of stabilization when all those problems of having a weak resources based on hiring quantity will emerge. And then what you have to do? You have to do your homeworks and clean the weak part of the organization. Then The more you scale, the more the leadership messages need to be distributed in different ways. When you are 20 people, you communicate easily. This is not a problem. But when you are 500 people, you need to put in place a ritual and tools to communicate every message of the leadership, from result to vision to where we are going, etc., etc., etc. The last part is in performance evaluation, you have two elements. I mean, objective elements driven by number and KPIs, and subjective elements, where manager is in charge of doing specific evaluation of the team. Those specific evaluation are tied to the style of leadership of the manager. So if a manager is weak with a strong team, probably sorry, if a manager is soft with a weak team, probably you will have an higher score because he's not this person is she is not in strong enough to provide blunt opinion. On the opposite, if you have a manager which is extremely strong with a strong team, this team can have a weak assessment or score, but maybe it's a team of rockstar with a too strong manager. So the problem is subjectivity on evaluation on non-objective criteria need to be taken very careful. I've always been a big fan on having a frank, ethical, and direct conversation with the people that in the short, mid-term will not be part of the organization anymore. In order to start this conversation with a solid framework, I believe that the performance review and the performance improvement plan are the right way to start the conversation. If a resource haven't met the expectation for 3 quarters in a row, where they have not met the expectation, it's the good segue to say, hey, it's 3 quarters that you are. It's like you are not here in the organization. Maybe it's time to split our journey, to separate our journey, and maybe it's time that you look for other opportunities not in the organization, and more solidly, hey, this is the performance improvement plan. We will do everything possible to make you change your behavior and improve your performance, and we are here to support you. But if the outcome of the performance improvement plan is not the one we expect, it's time to separate each other. So those are two solid framework and elements to start uncomfortable conversations. The next chapter is the last chapter of HR, and will tackle an elephant in the room, which is compensation. Usually, entrepreneurs don't have a solid compensation framework. We are trying to fill this gap in the next episode.